All right, welcome back to the Natasha Effect, where we talk real, think different, and change perspectives one conversation at a time. Actually, today the tables are turning, and I have my wonderful friend Jin here, who's going to be interviewing me. So you all will get to hear the other side of my story. And so, with that, take it on.
Woo! Hi, yes, my name is Jin. I'm so excited to be here again today because I am interviewing Natasha.
I know, and I couldn't ask
Yay!
for a better person to do it. I'm super
Aw.
excited.
Thank you so much. I'm really
Yeah.
excited to interview you as well. So just to
Kind of
give.
nervous.
Oh, really? You are? You're
'Cause it's
usually the
switched.
person.
Normally, I'm the
Okay.
one asking, so it's like, what is she gonna say?
So yeah, just to give everybody a little bit introduction about who Natasha is. Yes, you listen to her podcast every week. However, maybe you don't. There's some things you don't know about her. So she's a staff sergeant in the Army Reserves. She has a master's degree in nutrition and sports science, and she is the founder of Scent IQ Solutions, which we will talk a lot more in details about today. She's also a mompreneur. How old is Ezra right now?
2.5.
So a mompreneur of a toddler of 2.5 years old. So let's dive in. So Natasha, I would love to start out with your kind of like newer adventure of Scent IQ. Can you talk about what is Scent IQ and why did you start it?
So, as you know, or maybe people listening, I started as a candle business, and that was while I was actually pregnant with Ezra. So 2.5. Well, I guess it would be a little bit more than that, counting the pregnancy. So 2022, 2023, and I started as a candle business because I knew I wanted to start a business, but I wanted to kind of get my foot in the door. But I've also been really passionate about health, wellness, and then what we put into our bodies in terms of even smell. So when I was looking for candles, and specifically, everyone I looked at was like fragrance, paraffin wax, just all these other chemicals. And I'm like, why?
Mm-hmm.
So I did some deep diving, and then of course my history in the wellness and then my nutrition degree made me very hyper aware of every label I was reading. And so I kind of started the business from there. But what I was realizing is I wasn't enjoying the candle aspect, I was enjoying the experiential aspect. And then I was enjoying educating and teaching people things that they might not know. So then I went and filmed an entrepreneurial TV show in May called The Blocks.
Mm-hmm.
And that really educated me and helped me pinpoint my mission, which wasn't necessarily to be stuck doing candles, which is a very great product and I could have been very successful doing it, but now it's more like an add-on. So now I work in the scent psychology aspect of it, which is more like business branding, business consulting, and scent marketing. And so essentially what that is it helps influence buyer and consumer decisions based on, I'd say, manipulating or influencing your decisions just by emotion and scent. So that's kind of how I got there. And then it's been a shift after shift after shift, but we are there. We've made it to where we want to go. Now I just have to grow it.
No, I think is very, very interesting because I remember telling you something along the lines of, because I'm in residential real estate. Before an open house, I've heard of other very experienced agents say, oh, you got to have like the perfect candle to attract people when once they come in, they will smell something that's like a reminder of home.
Where they like, I'm sure we see it in movies all the time where they turn the oven on and bake cookies before an open house.
Yes.
That was scent marketing and scent branding in action. Just nobody really could explain it or knew what it was. It's a newer topic, but billion-dollar companies use it all the time. Starbucks, hotels, they always smell a certain way when you walk in. That's by design. It's meant to feel more luxurious, more elegant, makes you want to stay longer. And so when they did that with the open houses, it was the same thing. Specifically, cooking brings that nostalgic feeling, that home, that calm type of feeling. And so that's kind of where that stems from. Because you can't always just go in and bake cookies, right? So you want to get candles.
Yeah, get candles. Or I can, sometimes I can ask the homeowner, hey, would you mind if I just, bake a tray of cookies? When people walk in, they'll feel like, oh, smells good.
Smells
make
like
them
home.
Yeah.
It smells like home.
Yeah, exactly. And outside of the example of that, what are some other examples of like smell with the connection of, your a memory in your brain?
Like for me specifically, or just in general?
It can be in general.
So generally speaking, a lot of the same scents, they'll trigger the same thing. So a question I get a lot is why, if scent works a specific way, why don't all scents trigger, like why don't they trigger the same emotion?
Oh.
And the reason for that is when you smell something, and just to break it down in the most basic way that I can, when you smell something, those smell receptors, your olfactory receptors, the scent particle, we'll call it, has a very unique shape. So like vanilla will have a shape.
Oh, wow.
Lavender will have a shape. Citrus has a shape, all of them. And then that shape binds to that specific olfactory receptor. And then what happens is it bypasses the logic center of your brain and goes to the emotional control center of your brain. So a lot of our other senses, we have to think about something first, that logic aspect, to create a memory. But when you smell something, that's why you're instantly brought back somewhere. So the biggest thing I would say is like that nostalgic smell of like home cooking. A big one that people can identify with is, I'm sure we're all guilty of it in our past life, right? Like taking your boyfriend or girlfriend's shirt, or because it smells like them, that's because you have that emotional connection to them. Same with like, oh, it smells like my grandmother's house in here. Or just those very specific things that you identify with people. Even I'll go like a super personal route for myself. As you know, like I went into the foster care system when I was 15. I still remember to this day, if I smell the smell that was in their car of the air freshener, it takes me back to that day. And so, because we associate it with those events. But like more specifically, the properties of specific smells would be like lavender is just calming, sleep inducing. Vanilla is supposed to be comforting. It actually forms a trust bond and can make you appear more confident and trustworthy. Citrus makes people feel more kind and generous. They actually say to use that in a lot of fundraising events because it makes you feel more warm and kind and want to open your heart and your wallet. There were a few studies on that. Mint is supposed to be like re-energizing and cooling and calming. That's why a lot of cleaning products use like eucalyptus and mint. And just simple things like that. But just knowing them and knowing what they can do for you can make a huge difference.
And what would you say is currently your primary focus with Scent IQ?
Right now, aside from growing it, it's just educating people. Kind of getting into different speaking engagements, getting in front of the right people, and really educating them on how they can make scent a strategy and turn that strategy into sales. If billion-dollar companies can use it, why can't small businesses? And they can, they just don't know how, or they don't know how to use it to the best of their advantage. So really just educating is my biggest thing. I want to eventually move into like everyone, when they do business branding, you hear it all the time. You hear focus on your colors, focus on a good logo, focus on business cards, the fonts, the typology, all that stuff. Never once have I heard anyone be like, what smell do you want your business to have?
What's
Which
the
is like
scent?
it's a weird question, but think about it. I'll take, everyone knows Starbucks, right? Because you can smell the coffee almost immediately. Back in, I believe 2008, they actually banned hot sandwiches because it was messing with the smell and the ambiance of their environment. They now, obviously, you can get a sandwich back, but what they did is now they use a higher power convention oven. And then they have different air ducts in their buildings to prevent, and they also don't use microwaves, like traditional microwave, because the smell of that overpowers the coffee, and their whole purpose is coffee induces that like that studious feeling, that at home feeling, those things. And so they don't want to take away from that. And that's by design. Everything in Starbucks is by design, where they place their chairs and tables, like how from the second you walk in to where the counter is placed. It really is, it's a whole field called business psychology.
Mm-hmm.
And within that would be scent psychology and then experiential design and all of those things that I feel like a lot of people don't really A, know about, or B, they just don't feel like it's important.
Mm-hmm.
But you could be leaving a lot of money and influence on the table. And might at work at first, but I could guarantee you'll see a huge difference if you start implementing those things correctly.
Right, because I would definitely say, and in my example in real estate, I would definitely want kind of like a signature scent of mine. Basically, you know, whenever I do start a listing, I can be like, hey, here's a package and just like care, you know, home care products for them to keep the house clean, and maybe one of it can be just a simple candle or something scented.
Gin was here.
Right. Or just like, you know, this is like the most desirable scent that belongs to me. And whenever people comes in, they'll be like, oh yeah, this is such a nice scent. I would love to live in here, something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
So that would be great. Because I love the ideas you're talking about. Yes, lots of different big businesses, brands talk about their fonts, their color, their design, all that, but not necessarily talking about the scent, or at least, you know, on a smaller scale level, people don't think about it. So what would you say is some of the applications that say somebody have a business can implement that right away?
Like to use scent?
Yes.
You could a candle. You could do like room sprays, even down to, those will probably be the two biggest, especially like in a business sense. But in terms of like specific businesses using them, so real estate, obviously we touched on that. If you have an office, especially one with employees, I would say if you have employees or you have a high stress job, light a candle in the office, or even a wax melt if you can't have a candle. And that reduces anxiety, reduces stress, recenters, because that can make a world of difference. In some of these scents are known to trigger lower heart rate, lower your anxiety, bring you back to center. And so if you know how to utilize those scents and help with your employees, you might see a bigger shift, increase in productivity, those types of things. I mean, we all know stress kills. So if you know, reduce it as much as you can. And then what are other I've worked with spas and massage clients. They own massage studios, and she has a custom candle that I created with her, and she lights it in every one of her sessions. So now that's the smell of like her studio,
like her signature smell.
I worked with a hair school, and I mean, they teach more than that, like facial esthetician.
Right.
I'd say esthetician school.
In general. Yeah.
Same thing. She has a signature candle. Hotels use it. Obviously, they have like their whatever blend that they like to gatekeep and make a secret. It's like, oh, I want this smell. No, because they know how good it is and what it can do. It gives you that luxurious, that elegant, upscale feeling. And even a smell, if you think about it, you're more willing to go back to a place that smells good than one that smells bad, right? Like you're not going to necessarily want to go back to the place that, and maybe not even bad, just doesn't have a smell, but you're going to remember some place that was like, well, it smells good in here. 75% of our decisions every single day are influenced by smell.
Oh, really?
Which is a crazy number.
Yeah,
it's not
that's
like 5%,
really high.
6%, 75%. And you are 1,000 times more likely to remember something that you smelt versus touch, see, hear, or taste.
Wow.
And so that's why it's insane to me that more people don't utilize it, because it really is like an untapped power tool. And so I think that there's any business, you know, another question I get is like, well, how can I use that in my business?
Right.
I was just doing a consultation with someone, and she's a clothing business. When you send out your boxes and you ship out your clothes, put in a little scent like tag. So my business cards, I don't have it right here, but like I have a thing, you've seen those ones where it's like smell here. I have that on my business cards, and I'm sure you've seen it with candles or those types of businesses too. put that in with your clothes, and that's your signature smell, because now those clothes are going to smell like that when you ship it. People are going to associate that with you and your business. The thing you have to ask yourself is, what do you want your business to say? And how can we do that through smell? And that's where the consultation with me would come. And I could be able to say, okay, you want to convey this idea. What smell can we use to do that? And then we'd say, and then you would smell it, of course. Oh, I don't like that. I like this. And then, you get your own blend, the gin blend, whatever you want to call it, XYZ. But any business has the ability to put smell into their environment. It's just, okay, let's get creative and figure it out.
Right. I love that, application, even in e-commerce. Sure. Yes. You couldn't smell something through your phone, through your computer. However, when you do ship something in person, that is still, has that added touch.
Exactly.
Instead of just nice packaging. I like that. Though I do want to ask you about, right now we're in an era where everybody's, a lot more health conscious than I would say 20 years ago. And a lot of things are going like, okay, scentless, scent free. So what do you think is the reason why, let me think, how do I formulate this question?
I don't know. This sounds like it's going to be a hard one, so I'm scared.
No, I guess my question is just, there are certain, obviously I did not study scent psychology. I'd have no idea the background of that, but I just want to know, like, why are some scents that makes you have headaches, migraines, makes you feel nauseous?
Like, why does that happen?
It's probably not like the scent itself, but rather the chemical that the company uses.
Correct.
So I just want your take on it.
So a lot of time that happens, and it's usually around, a lot of people say it with candles. Oh, I don't use candles because it gives me headaches. And typically, and we'll just start with candles because that's easy to explain, but also it comes from the fragrance. So I only use essential oils when I'm helping you brand your business. And the reason for that is because fragrance is artificial scent, man-made scent. And so what happens with that is when these scents are manipulated in a certain way, specifically in a candle, and they're heated, they now become a different chemical. So we all know the basic science, solid, liquid, gas. So when it is to a certain temperature, it now becomes a different chemical. And same with the wax that's typically used in candles. And that now becomes toluene and benzene, which are both things that are in the exhaust of your car. Hence why you could get a headache.
Right.
So a lot of those headaches come from the fake fragrance and that synthetic aspect. The reason that essential oils don't give you that same headache is because they're plant derived, they're organic. So these are meant to heal headaches, to heal pains, to heal inflammation, to do those things. So as long as you keep them at their basic form and you're not changing their state, meaning heating them, cooling them too much, XYZ, then they're going to maintain that same chemical makeup, and therefore their benefits will stay intact. Now, if you heat them above a certain temperature, like for a candle, and it's a synthetic fragrance, it now becomes something else, and that is what's giving the people the headaches.
So what would you say, as a consumer, when we're reading labels, what are some of the things we'd be like, oh, yep, no, that is definitely a big no-no?
If you see the word fragrance, because the thing is if you see fragrance and a huge word blend, anything that says blend, and that goes for food, products, smell, anything. And this is why. When you see the word blend, that is the way around the FDA and all the other people who manage things.
Yeah.
That's their way of getting around it, because they don't have to tell you exactly what's in it, because they just told you it's a blend.
Wow.
So same with, and I'll go back to candles because that's where I did a lot of my studying. That's how I started. When you see a candle and it says soy wax blend, the regular consumer just sees soy wax and they're like, I'm good. The thing is a soy wax blend candle can be 99% paraffin, which is what gives you the headaches, and only 1% soy. And the reason for that is it's cheaper for these big manufacturing companies.
Oh, wow.
Because soy wax is more expensive. Essential oils are more expensive. Same with like the organic, non-organic aspect. But when they put that word blend in there, it protects them legally. Now they've told you it's a blend. But they don't have to necessarily say what's in it. Same with all these businesses that use that fancy word, proprietary blend, because they don't have to guarantee that every single one is the same because they don't know what's in it. That's the truth. And so I would really look for that word blend, look for the word fragrance, and then anything, just as a rule of thumb, if you can't pronounce it or you don't know what it is, probably don't use it. You know, and that's mine. But as far as scent goes, those would be the two. That word blend is such an easy word.
Right.
But
exactly.
It has such deep meaning.
Yeah, I love that you gave us like 2 words that we can actually remember and not, not words with like 5 syllables afterwards and nobody's going to remember what you just said.
Exactly.
So I love that. Those 2 words definitely. And it's like such a common thing because, before this, I would never have thought like, oh, something blend is not actually good. Or something fragrance is not good for you.
Yeah, prior to looking into, like, of course, because you want to do research into your own product, and when you're doing those things, I was unaware of that as well. I knew blend in food, like I just knew what that meant. But when I was looking at candles, I was like, oh, soy wax blend. Like everyone said, okay, soy wax is better. But I was unaware of what it actually meant until I looked into it myself. So now you know.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I want to go into a little bit of a segue into, being a entrepreneur and as a woman. What would you say are some of like the bigger challenges that you're facing?
Mine specifically, and not everyone's a mom, but mine is definitely being a mom. But that was a conscious choice that I made. Does it make it more difficult? Yes, but I also think that it makes it 10 times more worth it. I also think that, and this is one of the reasons that I started my women's networking group, as a female in the business world, I noticed that my husband and I, so we would go to a lot of our networking events together. But anytime I went by myself, I got a significantly different response and a different treatment than when I walked in the room with a man. And it wasn't a vast difference, but I picked up on it.
Right.
People didn't talk to me as long. I wasn't really approached. I would say the exact same thing that I would say if he was there or if I was by myself. And I noticed I was getting 2 different responses. People just, as human beings, we want to, or we associate power and business more with men. And so when I wanted to create that group, I wanted to create a space where it didn't matter anything about that. Because at the end of the day, like, women are very powerful, especially when we come together and we can talk about, like, I'm not stupid. I have a lot to say. And actually, in terms of the business aspect with my husband, he's very smart in his own lanes. But in terms of this and my education, I'm the one who knew the answer to the questions. They would ask him questions similar to like what you asked me. Oh, why is your product different? Or, what is this? And he's like, I don't know. She's the one with the chemistry degree. I don't know.
Yeah.
And that kind of shocked a lot of people. Same with being in the military. Like, I'm a female in a male-saturated area, especially in my job. So I was no stranger to that. And then my age is a huge thing for me too. Not necessarily like a female like you asked, but being one of the younger people typically in the room. I'm 29. When I started this venture, I was 27. And so anytime I walked into the room, people don't typically take, and I don't really necessarily look older either. So, they look at you and they're like, yeah, okay. You kind of get brushed off. But then he would say something and they would just suddenly take an interest. And it took for him to say, oh, well, you asked my wife about this. But I hated the fact that he had to initiate the conversation. Oh, yeah. And I'm like, and then it just made me mad. Like, it made me disinterested. And so I think the other thing we deal with, which is, how's the best way to put this? I think another thing we deal with as women, of course, is our hormones. And I think dealing with that in terms of a business aspect, and I'm not talking about like period hormones or those things. I'm talking about our stress levels are significantly higher than men. And that is because a lot of the time we're parents. A lot of the time we are the caretaker at the house. We're taking care of all of those things. On top of that, a lot of entrepreneurs don't have the luxury of that being their only job. So now they're working a 9 to 5, and we'll call the entrepreneurship, they're 5 to 9.
Mm-hmm.
And so now, they have all of that. Whereas I feel like the male, or, traditionally speaking, doesn't have to kind of wear all of those hats and think about all of those things at home, just because as a society we've kind of said that's the female's job.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think those would be the hardest or most difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I'll go back to even parenthood, like being a mom. That I say that's the hardest because a lot of people have kids, but a lot of people don't. And yes, that was my choice, but sometimes it's hard to get somebody who doesn't have kids, who's in the business world, to understand, like, hey, I can't just drop everything, because it's not just me, like, it's my son, and it's not like he's self-sufficient.
Right. Right.
So sometimes
you definitely want to think he is, right?
he thinks he is. 100% he thinks he's self-sufficient. But those are probably the most difficult things that I've come across so far.
So that's a lot to dissect.
Yeah.
I guess I want to go into more about, from what I can see, is that you're a highly consistent person. Every day I would see you posting something about your business, about the
very
networking
exhausting.
group. I know, which is why I want to ask you, how do you motivate yourself to keep the consistency? As you said, we are hormonal creatures. We do have, highs and lows. And during the highs, you'll be like, okay, I can accomplish anything. During the lows, you feel like, I don't even know if I can get out of bed today.
I would say, so the biggest motivator, I would say, is results. When you see the results and then you don't, you're like, oh, I need to go back to that. But I would say the biggest tool, or my secret, we'll call it, is batch your content. And meaning pick a day, and it doesn't have to be every single week. It doesn't really have to be as often as you think. But say every 2 weeks. Say that's what you can do. Pick a day and just batch film your content. Meaning, if you got to put on 3 different outfits and go take some videos, just so you have them in your arsenal to post later, do that. That's what I've started doing. And then reuse. People are not going to realize that you're reusing content because they don't know where it came from.
Right.
But if you have something that does well, go back, reuse it, repurpose it. Don't post the same video.
Right.
But do a unique take on it.
Right.
Even like something I do, because my focus is speaking. If there's a video of me speaking somewhere, talking about something, mute the video, put some music over it, type some text. You don't know what I'm talking about. But I could be like, hey, I'm talking about, on the screen, I'm talking about this. And now that video can serve as an advertisement for, this is what I'm
something
talking
else.
about.
Yep.
And back to like the batching content. We just started taking it 1 day a week because, we're able to do that, fortunately. We cut back on our gym days, and then we were like, okay, on this 1 day, we're going to take off from the gym. We're going to use it to do content. And what we do now is I take that day and I fill my drafts. I go through, I make the draft, like literally all I need to do is go in and push post. Something else you can do that I've started utilizing more is schedule your posts. Like once you do draft them, schedule them so you don't even have to think about it. Like at 5 a.m., that's how my podcasts are released. Like they're scheduled, they're out like 5 or 6 podcasts right now. And then they're scheduled like at 5 a.m. on Thursday mornings, this is going to release by itself. And then we go in and catch that up. Same with my content. I go in, I'm like, okay, draft, post it this time. And then the time that you choose, the reason I haven't been utilizing schedule as much is because I'm trying to figure out when my audience is most engaging. And so that's changing week to week. And then those are the keys. Check your insights. So go on and be like, hey, your followers are more active on Tuesdays at 3 p.m. That's what mine are for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then Thursdays at 6 p.m. Like those are my 2 right now. So my most important content, that's what I'm pushing out. And that's when I'm pushing it out. But really batch that content. That would be the biggest way to be successful.
And I
then
felt
be
like
consistent.
I felt like it's not even just about the content that you're posting. It's also, when you're scheduling things, like the networking group that you host, it's very, very consistent. So it's almost like kind of like a sectional finish line that you have to be like, okay,
Yeah.
yep, it's happening in 2 weeks' time. I gotta make sure people are RSVPing, are signing up, and I need to invite. I need to spread the word. So I think that's,
Yeah.
you know, that's how you're keeping yourself accountable.
Definitely
as well.
having a schedule for yourself. Even with the women's group, I found that obviously in the beginning, because of when you have two people working together, like you have to coordinate schedules. But like for me, something I always wanted to do is, you know, knowing that you have that meeting on the first Thursday of every month at the same time is much easier for a business person or a mom or somebody who, you know, like I said, this isn't their life, to be able to attend. And then also, so knowing that, because at the end of the day, we're cyclical creatures, we're community creatures, and knowing that you have that at that time and not having to wonder, oh, I wonder when this event's going to be, definitely helps. Because even though I was very consistent in the beginning, it was still like, it was around the first or second week of the month, but you never really knew what day or what time. And I've noticed that since consistently I've been putting it same day, same time. Now I don't have to be like, when someone asks me, when's your next one? First Thursday of every month.
Yes.
That's all I have to say, because everyone has a calendar. Everyone can know what day the first Thursday is. I personally don't have to remember, oh, what date is that?
Right.
I don't know. And now I can just say first Thursday of every month. And that makes it easy for other people to tell their friends and their group, hey, on the first Thursday of every month, I go to this meeting. And so that is very beneficial as well. And then just kind of marketing, figure out your target market and figure out what, because right, there's so many different social medias.
Yeah.
So of course there's Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. What's another?
I guess YouTube Shorts if you want.
Yeah. So I guess we'll just go with like those three main ones as like the way people advertise. People make the biggest mistake of posting the same content on all three. And so in the beginning, people say, oh, just post it everywhere. But the thing is your audience, they're built different. And what I mean by that is TikTok right now is like a Google run system. It's a search-based system. So you want your videos to be something that people are going to search for. So for example, for me, I post videos that like people go in there and search women's networking events. So now when they search that, I'm hoping my videos come up. But Instagram is more like for your friends, family, people who have a more intimate relationship with you. It's not a search bar. So they're only going to see your things if they know about you or if you're consistently coming up or if you're pushing ads. So yeah, it can be ad based, but you have to kind of take that into consideration. This is more community based and more personal. So like that's why on those pages, it's not run like an ad. For me right now, I'm kind of running my TikTok like a Google. Like, hey, you know, I'll post random stuff because of course it's like, oh, if people search, like I watch Big Brother. So like I just did my ranking of Big Brother. And so people will search Big Brother rankings and then that'll come up. So it's really being utilized like Google.
That is really a take I've never heard before about, you know, the differences between TikTok and Instagram.
Just kind of know where you're posting.
Right. So going back to your networking group, what would you say is some of the things, you know, we're going back to talking about being women's group. What would you say are some of the differences that you're seeing or some of the collaborations that you can see that's happening?
The biggest thing that I'm seeing is everyone's like willingness to help each other. A lot of the time, and my husband will be the first one to throw other men under the bus. You know he will too. Men are just by nature, like human nature, they're competitive. Women too, but men more so. I mean, we see it in the animal world with people. And so they always want to be top dog. They always want to be at the top. And I mean, just human nature. Women, we're community based. We want to help each other.
Right.
We're family based. And so I'm seeing that come to fruition in my group. And it's truly amazing because everyone truly just wants to, whether it benefits them or not, they truly just want to help.
Right.
And I feel like in a male or in a co-ed group, it's very, people bang heads a lot because they want to be the top. Not to say, you know, there aren't competitive females, because I'm very much one of them. But I actually made a post about this morning. Collaboration happens at the top and competition happens at the bottom. So when you absolutely should be working with your
What do you mean about the top and bottom?
So competition happens at the bottom, meaning you're not going to get anywhere if you're constantly competing with somebody. But you can both get to the top if you're collaborating. And I'll take real estate agents, for example. There's a bunch of you, right? Typically, even at networking groups and things like that, it's unless you're in BNI, like you are
the one seat.
You're not by yourself. And so I think that and photographers is another huge one in that group. But just because you're real estate, we'll go there. With real estate, something that, and I actually even plan to do this at the meeting, but it's good introduction to that. If you and another real estate agent go up and I'm like, hey, Jen, what is your weakness in real estate and what is your strength? What would you say? Like, what do you struggle with and what would you say is your strength?
My struggle is I can't be at multiple places at the same time. I am only one person. I can only show one house at a time. My strength is I like to, with my background in education, I can simplify complex ideas or complex, kind of like, you know, all the paperwork that we have to go through in real estate. I can simplify that into something simpler for my clients.
So now if and I'll just answer this. This is obviously untrue because I'm not a real estate agent.
Right.
But say I was real estate agent Sam. We'll be Sam. I don't know. And I would say my strength is social media. And my weakness is, we'll do the opposite of what you said. Sometimes I struggle simplifying things to my clients. Say we're both at a networking meeting and we just asked each other that. You can help me with my weakness and then say your weakness was, which it's not because you're very good at social media.
No, I wouldn't say so.
But say I was like, okay, my strength is social media. And I'd be like, okay, Jen, I can help you with social media on yours and you can help me simplify things. Now we're both working together, but we're both gaining something out of it. And so instead it could have been like, oh, you're both competing for the same client, but now you could collaborate. Because and like you said, you can't be in two places at once. But say you have someone that you really trust and you work with.
Absolutely.
You could definitely send that person and then next time they could send you. Like,
absolutely.
And it'll balance out. It's kind of like that. And so that's what I mean by collaboration happens at the top.
Okay. Oh, I love that. One of the real estate podcasts I love listening to, there are two real estate agents in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And one of the things that they said, that they explain how collaboration over competition is, say you and I are both realtors. However, if I'm having a wedding tomorrow, my guest list of say 250 people is not going to be the same 250 people that's going to be on your list.
Exactly.
And no matter what, that is definitely going to be enough business for everybody to go around. So we really need to stop limiting ourselves to, oh yeah, if you're an agent and I am an agent, then we can't collaborate, because that is far from the truth.
And the number one thing I tell people now in terms of like when they're first starting, especially like on the social media side, when you're starting your page in your area within a 50-mile radius, look up every single person that's doing what you do and follow them. If you like what their page looks like, what they're doing, the clients they're getting, follow them, because now they're going to show up on your feed and you're going to see that, and then just copy it and make it yours. You're going to get inspired by that.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, now you're seeing all these people that you're competing with, and you might see, so like for me, I follow a bunch of women's groups because I want to see what they're doing. But I want to make mine, of course, I want to make mine better. But I'm going to take inspiration from that I might not have thought about. Right. Or these people who have been in the game longer are going to probably post about something I see I don't like. Or they've come into something that I haven't ran into yet. And now I can kind of have a leg up on that.
Mhm.
So that would be like my biggest thing is follow your competition. So many people are like, oh, I don't want to follow them because I'm
No.
competing. And it's like, why? Learn from them.
Right.
And so that would be my biggest aspect on that or take on that.
Right. And going back to I just want to say I'm one of the biggest like testimony for Quirks and Connections and the people that I met
Yeah.
there. In my last event, which is Milkshakes with a Mission, I raised school supplies for Hillsborough Education Foundation. Lots of amazing ladies I met at the group came out, show up, and supporting me. They were like helping out, handing things out to people. It's just how why part of the big reasons why I really love the group of women that we just come together and we felt like, okay, you need support, I got you. So that's really
well,
the
and
point.
think about it too, because Lewis and I have thought about this. He's like, yeah, I've never seen a group of men just get together and talk business, right? Like you don't see that, because we were chatting and we were talking about like his aspect, or like, because I do think that it could be possible. It's just a little different. But he's working on building a men's group right now, not necessarily
fun,
not necessarily networking focused,
Okay.
because they have to have something, but it's part of it. And so I'm helping him kind of create that blueprint for that.
Yeah.
But that's how that came up. He's like, yeah, you don't get a group of men together and we just talk business. And, and we're like, how can I help you? Of course, there's other things involved. But
right. I definitely think men do come together and talk business, but not in a community.
Not in a collaborative sense.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Whereas women is always like, yeah, how can we help you?
Exactly.
So yeah, that is always good. So what would you say are some of your advice for other people that's trying to, be, if they're a mom trying to start their own business, or, they are also a fellow woman that's feeling very lost in their entrepreneurship?
The biggest thing that you can find, honestly, is like a supportive partner, because I couldn't do anything without mine. Like, Lewis is, a lot of people just think he like exists. I know you see it. I know you see what he does, but people who don't know him, they just, because it's my podcast, it's my women's group, it's our business, but it's like I'm doing all of the knowledge behind it in that aspect, but they don't see what he does. Anyone who's done the podcast knows he sits here, he sets up the audio, the visual. He takes my son to the gym so we can film at home. That's a lot of work on somebody.
Oh yeah.
Especially when at the same time he's in his own master's program, and he's, going to school and doing his own thing and making his social life. So that's a lot to ask of somebody. To do it by myself is crazy.
Right.
I give single moms who are business owners like the utmost respect.
Wow.
I don't know how you do it. I really don't. So if you don't have that, a support system, find somebody that can support you, especially if you're a mom. I don't know what I would do without my little business therapist friends. Like, oh my God, I'm going through something. And then, we talk it out. And sometimes you're so attached to your business because you've poured your heart into it, that you need that objective lens that's going to be like, hey, maybe let it go. Maybe do this, maybe do that. And so having kind of that as well. And then just, if you want it, do it. Find a way, ask for help, because there's so many people out here that will help you figure out how to do it. Like, if you truly have a mission and a vision and something that you really believe in, someone else might have that same vision, might have that same want, and they'll help you figure it out. But at the end of the day, don't just think because you're stuck somewhere and you don't have all these resources that you can't do something. Like, don't ever give up on your dream, essentially. Just always keep trying. Like I said, I started as candles and now I'm here. I didn't ever think that I was going to be sitting here doing my own podcast ever in my life. Like, I was just writing, I've been working on writing my book, and the beginning of it is a letter to my 15-year-old self. And sometimes I have to remind myself of everything I've went through and everything I've accomplished because I forget. And sometimes I do forget that I am only 29. And so when I'm reading through this, I'm like, damn, when I was 15, I would have been so proud of who this woman is right now. And so that's what I would say. Go through and really just write down. You might have already accomplished more than you realize. And so just keep trying, keep going at it.
So it sounds like having at least a big why, what's driving you.
You have to have a why.
And have a big support system, can be a partner, can be a tribe.
Someone you trust and someone that is always going to have your back. Your best interest.
Right. So you don't feel like you're going at it alone because, going at business alone is really, really, really challenging.
And then probably the third one is just educate yourself. There are so many free resources out there between YouTube, TikTok, as in the new Google
all that.
Podcasts. Like there are so many free resources that if you and we have just such easy access to technology, ChatGPT, whatever, type in there whatever it is you trying to do and what you want to know. And whether it be something as simple as, hey, how do I start an LLC? Look it up, ask somebody, post in a Facebook group. Somebody's done it. Because somebody's done it, and just learn that way. Educate yourself, learn the ins and outs because it's not impossible.
Okay. All right, that was really great. So before I wrap up, I asked AI to give me some fun questions to ask kind of like at the end to wrap up. So let's start with the easy ones.
See,
what
asking AI. Sorry, I just had to throw that in
Yes,
there.
exactly. Like how this is a complete new era. Everybody is going to use AI to make their career, their job, their life easier and better.
You just got to make it work for you. That's it.
Yes, this is my AI helping me out with this podcast. So what would you say is your guilty pleasures or just a favorite way to unwind after a busy day?
Oh, taking a hot bath.
Okay, really?
I know it's super simple and so easy.
Yeah.
Taking a hot bath and watching Big Brother. I don't know if you've ever watched it.
No.
It's a reality TV. Do you know what it is at all?
No.
It's a reality TV show where they all live in a house together, 16 house guests. And it's really a game. I think you would like it.
Okay.
It's really a game about human manipulation. And essentially you build all these alliances. They have no phones, no books, no writing. You're cut off from the outside world. And so it's all about maneuvering through these games, winning physical and mental competitions. And then at the end, the person wins a cash prize. And it's voted on by the fellow house guests you've evicted. So the season finale just wrapped up of season 27 a few nights ago. And so that is I will binge watch that. I'm not a huge TV person, but that and a hot bath.
I will check that out. But what is your scent for your bath?
It depends on my mood.
Yeah.
But typically I always go for a lavender, especially if I'm trying to unwind and relax, or a citrus, because it's just very anxiety reducing and just zen, we'll say.
Okay, awesome. Do you have any hidden talents that people don't know about?
A hidden talent?
Or hobbies that people have no clue that you do this?
I hate the word talent because I feel like I'm the most talented person. No.
Yeah, I can understand how you feel about that.
But I guess a hidden talent, if I don't use it all the time, but I do have the ability, and it's just from my schooling to read ingredients on whatever, and I could draw the chemical structure from organic chemistry class.
Oh, wow.
because it was just so drilled into my brain. Not that, like I said, it's a weird talent because it's not like you use it on the daily.
Right.
But I still think that's really cool to still remember how exactly it breaks down. If something is a hexene, it's going to be in the shape of a hexagon, and ene, E-N-E ending, is a double bond. So I know that based on those numbers, be a double bond. Obviously, there's a lot more to it, but that's just a quick.
No, that is definitely crazy. I would never imagine you're able to do that, but that's very cool.
I'll show you at the next meeting. We'll just find a random one and we'll draw it.
Okay, and finally, who would you say is your dream dinner guest?
My dream dinner guest? Ooh.
I guess I'm going to open it up to people can be in history.
I was going to say, do they have to be living?
I guess it doesn't have to be.
Honestly, wow, this is a hard one.
or somebody that you really look up to. Can be just even, you know, a position that you feel like, oh, I would love to talk to this person.
Erica Kirk.
Okay. Why is that?
I just think that she is just an exemplary woman that I just would love to talk to in terms of ask more about her husband, ask more about her faith, more about she's very successful CEO herself. Just she has figured out how to integrate faith and daily living and motherhood. Seems flawlessly, but again, everything is not as it seems.
Right.
But I would just love to get her take on that, and then just kind of see what maybe trials and tribulations, you know, she had to go through before getting to where she's at.
Right.
Because a lot of people just don't realize everything. I mean, she's been Miss Arizona, applied for Miss USA. She is a CEO of a Bible app, a very successful one, a streetwear company, now runs her late husband's foundation and all these other things. So it's like, how you doing all that? And you and you got kids, and you stay true to like your mission and God's mission and those things. So she's definitely somebody. And then just, of course, Donald Trump. I love that guy. But that's from a business standpoint.
Okay.
I would just love to hear what he has to say.
Right.
Just an unfiltered conversation with good old
Right.
DT.
Right.
But yeah. That's
Okay, and that's it from the Natasha Effect. Woo!
Yay! Next time it'll be me asking again. But thank you, Jin. You did such an amazing job, and
Thank you so much.
it was definitely a fun and unique feeling to be on the other
Yeah.
side. I was like, oh, this is what she meant by those are tricky questions.
Yeah.
So I like that it gives me like that inside perspective of kind of being on the other side.
Right, how it feels to be the person.
Exactly.
You
So
know?
I definitely think it was helpful in that way too. And now I see why people are like, "Ooh, that's a hard one. You on the spot? Hurry up!" But all right, bye guys.
Bye.